Now we begin our tour of the Earth, looking at the major regions of the Earth and the effects of physical geography on human behavior in each of these regions. We start with South America, and we start by looking at the physical geography of South America, which is what we call the Great Rain Machine. As this illustration of the location of earthquakes and volcanoes shows, the North and South American tectonic plates are formed by the seafloor spreading in the east and the collision of these plates as they move west and collide with the Pacific or Nacha plates along the western edge, forming, as we discussed in our lecture on tectonics, the great line of mountains that follow the western edge of North and South America. As this illustration shows, the Andes Mountains of South America form a large bowl or arc along the northwestern edge of South America, creating a basin into which an enormous amount of rain will fall, forming the Amazon River and the Amazon River drainage basin. And the western edge of this basin is the Andes Mountains, illustrated here by the Peruvian Inca remains in Machu Picchu, located at 8,000 feet above sea level and built in the middle of the 15th century. Machu Picchu was the summer retreat of the Inca emperor that was abandoned after the Spanish invasion of the 1530s and only discovered in the early 20th century, but reminds us of the importance of the Andes Mountains in shaping the profile of South America. When we look at the rainfall gradient in South America, we're reminded of three things. First, South America lies along the equator that runs directly across the northern half of the continent. This means that the area is very hot. Secondly, as we indicated in our earlier lecture on the atmosphere, along the equator, warm air, being light and heavily saturated with moisture, rises, the moisture condenses, and falls as rain. And so we have all around the world, near the equator, a heavy band of rainfall and therefore of rainforests. And finally, returning to our discussion of the global wind patterns, you'll recall that immediately north and south of the equator, the prevailing winds are from east to west, easterlies or trade winds. And as this illustration shows, this brings the prevailing winds across the Atlantic Ocean onto the mainland of South America. As those winds move across the ocean, they're relatively warm because they're near the equator, so they evaporate water off the surface of the ocean, and when they hit the east coast of South America, those saturated air masses rise. As they rise, they cool. As they cool, the moisture in them condenses, and this creates an enormous amount of rain into that basin formed by the arc of the Andes Mountains. As a consequence, the Amazon River Basin is the world's great rain machine, forming the largest body of fresh water in the world. Indeed, the Amazon River disgorges more fresh water than the next 6 largest rivers of the world combined. That very warm temperature and high degree of moisture forms a prevailing rainforest throughout the Amazon basin and generates a vegetation profile as illustrated in this slide.